What might you consider your favorite genre of music to be? Or what type of music do you connect to most? Just looking at this dark screen right now, can you take a guess at what my favorite genre of music might be? What about if you saw me? Would you still guess it to be the same? One of the genres of music that I connect to most is actually country. I feel that people look at me and they would not guess that right off the bat. They wouldn't think that right away. And it's kind of strange that just looking at a person, you can determine or put a certain image of what they might be like. And I even think of that with music too. Looking at me, you could probably assume that I like a certain genre of music or like certain artists or connect to certain types of music more, but I might be able to also guess that you wouldn't think one of those would be country. Or maybe you could, but I've had experiences where that's definitely not come across that way. Music is another one of those things that is again marginalized or depicted as being related to certain groups of people and labeled by skin color, even. And I never really understood that. I enjoy and connect to any type of music that feels freeing and liberating and musically, lyrically beautiful. Things that I can relate to and connect to. And country is one of those genres that I just happen to connect to and just relate to in different aspects and just enjoy listening to it. And I feel like I can feel that kind of music. And I can feel this way about other genres of music. This is just one of the examples because it's one of the ones that gets the most feedback or attention when it's learned about me. And I've had experiences, even from people I've worked with, managers, and it's been said, "Oh, I've never seen you as a country girly. You listen to that?" Black people don't listen to country. We don't listen to things like that. And these are things that have literally been said to me because I played the type of music I like and enjoy around other people who don't understand why I like it. I like it because I like it. That just goes to show marginalization. They make it hard for us, but music doesn't define me. 25%, 7.8%. Without any context, those are just numbers. They're just percentages. But if you look a little closer into those, they mean a lot more than that. 25%, that is the amount of people of color that go to the IUI campus. And 7.8% of that 25% are African Americans. And I am one of them. Those may seem like small numbers, but what if I told you the school that I attend within IUI has an even smaller percentage than that, about 5%, and that is the art school. I know that's a lot of numbers, so I'm going to start to reel it in and connect it a little more close to home. There aren't many people who look like me who are doing what I'm doing or have done what I have done. And when I say people who look like me, I mean young, black, female. Although there is truth in those statements, it still doesn't mean that I am not shy to that word, microaggressions. They are, unfortunately, all too familiar to me. Over the course of these past 3.5 years, I've had a lot of experience within this school and with my department. Amazing experiences and not so amazing experiences as well. And both of those are in so many different aspects and has so many different layers. But I am going to be focusing on a few comments that have been made and have dealt with. There was a time back when I had my box braids that I love so much. I was told by another student. First, they were called locks, completely different hairstyle. And then basically, my hair ended up being compared to matted dog fur. There was another time that I was in one of my classes and there were treats on the table for the class. And I went up to the table and my professor and I asked, could I have one of the treats? And she just told me no. 5 minutes later, about 8 students went up there and was able to get the treat. So I went back up there and asked, okay, so can I get one now? And then she goes, okay, I guess so. And these are just two experiences that I've had in the course of these 3.5 years. And these comments and these microaggressions have come both ways. So I've been talking a bit about my academic career and microaggressions that arise and that exist in that world of mine. But in the other world of mine is the professional world. I was a summer camp counselor at the zoo a couple summers ago and had been in that same position for about 4 years before that because I love animals, I love wildlife, and I love education. I remember there being a specific counselor who did not want to get along with me for whatever reason. And there was one day where she just decided to go and complain to leadership about not only me, but others too, but targeted me. And the way it was handled was that on Sunday at 11 p.m., the individual in that leadership role sent an entire email and called me out. The thing that I found disturbing was that the individual in leadership did not come to me at all, but instead heard her side of the story, took her side of the story, and then blamed me for something I didn't even understand myself. And from that, I experienced documentation for the first time and having to turn that into even higher roles and understanding that unfortunately that's a part of being a Black woman in the work field. These are just a few examples I've given in my academic experience and in the professional world experience. And yes, there are these negatives, but there are positives as well. And in the summary of everything, I would do it again and again and again. And for what reason? Simply because I love doing it. These words, these actions that have been done and will continue to be done towards me will not determine that I myself will be done. The definition of microaggression is the everyday, subtle, intentional interactions or behaviors that communicate some sort of bias toward marginalized groups. But microaggressions don't define me. Imagine this. You're camping with your family, sitting around the fire pit, enjoying the outdoors and the glamping lifestyle. Then a couple comes over asking to tour your camper because she's never seen one so nice, while he stands back, stares, and questions how this family could afford this camper and this nice truck and why he doesn't have that. Well, for me, that's not just an imagination, that actually happened. And if you were wondering why we happened to gain all that type of attention and no one around us had that happen at all, that we had seen in the entirety of us being there. And I looked around and realized we were the only Black campers in that area. I believe Black people are not commonly represented in spaces like campgrounds, especially what's seen as a quote unquote luxurious gear. Because of this, it's a shocker to others, and because of that, we're in turn questioned about being in the wrong space. But on the other side of that, I feel this is something that is starting to change. I will continue to do this because I simply enjoy it, and it's a leisure activity for all of my family and for us to all get together and to have fun and make new memories. Black people like the outdoors, being in nature, and Black people like camping too. By now, you have a little bit of background on some different interests and different passions of mine, but would you still be able to place what my career aspiration is? What if I gave you three options? A clinical psychologist, a wildlife photographer, or an influencer? If you guessed just one of those, you'd be right. That was a trick question because I actually am interested in all of those things. But the one I'm going to be focusing on and the one that I am truly going after right now in my life is wildlife photography. Growing up in nature and being influenced by the outdoors did heavily weigh on this for me. I've always loved photography. I love nature. I love animals. And I just thought that's the perfect career that combines all of those things for me. The only thing with that is I have not seen or came across another Black female wildlife photographer. A lot of the things about outdoor photography I have had to teach myself about. The biggest experience that I've gained for nature photography was an internship in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So definitely not right around the corner. It's a 19-hour drive straight through from here to there. If there was a perfect career for me, maybe add some animals in there, that is the dream career for me. Being outside on my own schedule, seeing the different stages and the different times of the days and different landscapes, I just was in awe the entire time. But I had to go all that way to get that type of experience, and I would not trade that for anything. But it's something that isn't really here in Indiana, and not just because of we are in the Midwest, but as far as just opportunity as well. And I just got so much support, and that itself made it worth it to keep trying and to still keep trying even now to find that place for me. We don't have to live in fear. And I truly believe we don't have to live in fear because I know there's someone looking out for us. So I say to all of us, go ahead, let's live through our true passions, break these margins, destroy these stereotypes. Let's support each other because it won't be easy. But I will continue on and continue to promote this message. And why? Because stereotypes don't define me. Music doesn't define me. Microaggressions don't define me. Stereotypes don't define me. These things that I find joy and peace and happiness in are things that I will continue to do for that reason alone. And these margins that are built to go against people like me are not going to stop me from finding success through these passions that I love doing. In my young adulthood, some accomplishments that I have are I've gained 3 academic and arts-based scholarships. I was nominated as a top 100 student of the IUI campus. I am the first in my family to graduate with a bachelor's degree from art and design school. Just so many different accomplishments that it's overwhelming sometimes. And I'm not saying this to be arrogant, I'm not trying to brag. I don't like coming off that way, but these are just things that I'm proud of myself for doing while overcoming microaggressions and stereotypes throughout my academic and life, and will continue to do because it's important, and I'm not going to let these things instill fear into me and prevent me from doing these things. If there's anything that you take away from this video today, I want you to remember this. Age does not define you. Race does not define you. Gender does not define you. Your hobbies do not define you. You define you. And I truly believe everybody has beauty. Everybody has talent. Don't run from that. If anything, use it for them, but most importantly, for you.